Oh man, hey, what's the deal? Miss your boy Tag from Pro Wrestling Tag. You know what I mean? As of this recording, it is 6:24 p.m. April 24th, 2026. You know what I mean? This is the first and only video of the day. You know what I mean? And now officially, I'm gonna have to come with two videos in one because as soon as I turn my phone on, I got some news, right? As of this hour, okay? As a 6:24. But let me get to the first thing because I seen this and I said to myself, this is interesting. This is interesting, but then I'm going to kind of put cold water onto the expectation of this. Okay? So for the first time since 2019, the Twitter account for Lucha Underground had posted, right? They put some with a mask and everything, you know what I mean, with smoke all around. And it said más, right? Meaning more in Spanish. Basically, resurrecting the promotion, right? People were excited. Oh man, this is gonna be fucking fire. They're back. You know? Here's the thing, okay? It's not gonna catch fire like it did the first time. I'm gonna tell you why. When Lucha Underground came out, right? There, you know, it gave an alternative to WWE, right? It gave an alternative to a point where, you know, hold on real quick. Yeah, sorry about that. Like I'm hearing a commotion. You know what I mean? Like I'm walking there, I hear like some commotion shit. But you know, with Lucha Underground announcing that it's coming back, it's not gonna have that same fire that it did, some 10 years ago. Okay? I'm gonna tell you why. Okay? When Lucha Underground, first appeared onto the scene, right? It was an alternative to WWE, right? What the fuck? It was an alternative to WWE, right? So it gave another alternative, something else to watch. It was different, right? It was way different than, than what you've seen with WWE and Ring of Honor and shit, right? And again, it was different because it had cinematic stuff, and it was all like in an underground setting, right? Yo, hold on, Bree, hold on. Yeah, sorry about that. Like the person who I told you who was screaming, you know what I mean? Like this motherfucker's behind me. Let me cross the street. Know what I mean? If this nigga follow me, I will knock his ass out. But anyway, right? You hear that in the background. It had a different feel because they mixed wrestling with with cinema, right? And it was fucking beautiful, right? So it was very different than what you got, from WWE and any other promotion at the time, right? And so, but it wasn't even a promotion. It was, it was a TV show. Now, I mean, it clearly was a TV show that was, that was ahead of its time. Yeah, so it was a TV show that played the promotion, right? You got Ricochet there, you had fucking Brian Cage, you had Penta. Now, I mean, you had a lot of people there, right? A lot. And so, it just abruptly stopped after a good couple years, right? So they announced that it's actually coming back, right? So they announced that it's coming back. But here's the problem, okay? The problem with that is it's been gone for so long, right? And there's a lot of problems with this. Number one, it's been gone for so long that they no longer have no traction. Like there's no more traction with Lucha Underground. Okay? There's no traction that they have. None whatsoever. None. Because, I don't even think they still got to do it with the El Rey network anymore. I don't know what they have. I don't. You know what I'm saying? And number two, and this is the most important part, right? AAA is owned by WWE. Okay? They worked so close with AAA that, they basically was exchanging wrestlers and everything else. Lucha Underground, like I said, was was primarily created for the side of AAA. WWE owns AAA, right? So is it gonna work? No. How the fuck is it gonna work? What, you're gonna work a deal with, and that's another thing too. The AEW part of it, right? Because you already have the quote unquote main alternative from WWE with AEW, right? How's that gonna work? You know what I mean? How the fuck is that gonna work? Are they gonna go and do something with CMLL? It's not gonna make sense. Doing Lucha Underground with CMLL, it's not gonna make any fucking sense. You know what I'm saying? Because then you add, you add the AEW part. Like, come on. They had something close to it with, I think with MLW. MLW did something with it. You know what I mean? But again, other than that, like, what do you have? What the fuck do they have at this point? How's this gonna work? How? What, you're gonna do it on YouTube? You know what I mean? Like, again, like the aesthetics, everyone is gone. Everyone is gone. What are you gonna do? You're gonna try to bring Ricochet back as Prince Puma? It's not gonna work. It don't hit the same. Lucha Underground's not gonna hit the same. It's not. Just for the simple fact that flame is gone. It's gone. That's like you trying to bring WCW back, right? It's not gonna work. It's not going to work, And I understand, yes, you want to know the alternative to wrestling, but that's a crazy whip. But that's a unique. Like I just seen a car that looks pink, orange, and shit. But like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna compete with WWE and AEW, and TNA. It's not gonna work. That's another thing too. What are they gonna do? What, work a deal with TNA? It's not gonna work. WWE has that. They have that on lock. Okay, so I don't know what this means. If Lucha Underground does come back, but I don't see it getting the same flame and the same fire that it did many, many, many years ago. Right now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about was, like I said, when I turned on my phone, these things happen. It looks like it's time for WWE to do their annual releases, and there's some names that have been released at this hour. At this hour, right? I'm gonna get my thoughts on it, okay? So as of right now, 5 names from WWE has been released, okay? Out there deal. Joe Gacy, Nikki Cross, Bo Dallas, which is basically 3/5 of the Wyatt Six. Alba Fyre, and this one hurts the most. Zoey Stark, and you know why this one hurts. Because of the fucking injury that she had, right? Here's my thing, okay? I think with the Wyatt Six, I think WWE did not, they had really nothing for them. They had nothing for them to the point where, once they stuck them in AAA, then it's like, okay, you thought that they would have some, have some fire in there and such, but nothing. There's nothing there. I mean, Joe Gacy's going to be okay. I mean, I think Joe Gacy's going to be all right. All of them are going to be all right. Joe Gacy's going to find work somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, he'll get work in the indies. Nikki Cross, the same thing. I would not be shocked if Joe Gacy lands in AEW. I really would. I would not. Right? Bo Dallas. I don't know if Bo Dallas is even going to wrestle again or not. Who knows? Who knows? Right? Nikki Cross, I expect Nikki Cross to be, to hit the independents. You know what? Same thing with Joe Gacy. I expect Joe Gacy to hit the independents, right? Same thing with Alba Fyre. Alba Fyre is going to be okay. Alba Fyre more than likely will go on to the indies. I don't know what happens with Zoey Stark. Zoey Stark is the big one because Zoey Stark, again, remember that injury that she had? You know what I mean? That injury that she had and shit. It just derailed her, her WWE run. But let me get back to the first 3 I mentioned, right? This tells me that the Wyatt Six is over. It's over. It's fucking over because what the fuck they're gonna do with Dexter Lumis? Huh? I'm expecting Dexter Lumis to get released. I'm also expecting Luke Harper, Eric Rowan to get rest in peace, Luke Harper. I'm expecting Eric Rowan to get released. The Wyatt Six is over. It's over. It's a wrap. Know what I mean? It's a wrap. I also think that WWE fucked up with the Wyatt Six because they didn't add the people who they should have added on there, right? You should have added Karrion Kross on there, right? You should have added Alexa Bliss there too. You know what I'm saying? Like I think they, they probably thought that, this was going to be like the next big thing, and it was the way how they booked the Wyatt Six when they first formed was insane, right? But as time went by and shit, like they had a lot of momentum and they just dropped. I don't know if it was because of injuries or whatnot. I don't fucking know. Nobody knows. But if WWE's releasing people right now as a 635, again, I don't know who else they're gonna release. This is just the first 5 names that I got as of as a 6:35 p.m. Right? And mind you, this is WWE doing their usual after WrestleMania cuts, right? Which tells me that they're gonna sign more people. They're gonna bring in more people. They're gonna sign people from AEW. They're gonna sign people from TNA, the Indies, or whatnot. They got people coming up. You know what I mean? This is the way how it is. This is exactly how it is. And I should have thought about this too, because there was a report early this morning from, I think, PW Insider, saying that WWE superstars are on edge of the WrestleMania cuts, right? And we're seeing that, right? But damn, the Wyatt Six to me is a group that WWE could have done more, right? But they just stopped. They just stopped pushing them for whatever reason, right? It's gonna be interesting. But anyway, guys, I'm about to be out. You know what I'm saying? I will definitely be coming with another video tomorrow. If there's more releases, I will let you guys know. So I'm gonna definitely holler at y'all.